Welcome back to episode 219 of the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast. My name is Josh. I'm here with Troy. I'm here with Phil. I'm here with the one, the only Baba Louie.
It's a Gong Show Super Show.
Very special Gong Show Super Show because we had a crazy day today. I'm sure you've seen the title of the video or the title of the podcast. So you know, I guess, a little bit what that's about. And so we asked Phil to come make a special Thursday appearance on the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast, putting in overtime. Phil, how's it feel to be on? Is this the first Thursday show, or have you done one before?
No, first Thursday show, midweek. It's good. I can't wait to wake up at 5 tomorrow. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, for all of us tomorrow, and Baba Louie and myself, especially. Yeah, we went to the Rookie Showcase. We're very, very excited to talk about our trials, tribulations, and adventures this week. We just got back. Louie and I literally just got off the airplane back from the show. And so we're going to get right going and get the show started. Before we do that, though, just a very quick reminder that our show, the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast, is a Patreon podcast. What that means is we rely on support of listeners like yourself to help us cover our show expenses, produce what we hope is more and better hockey card content, and hopefully today is an example of that, and then fund initiatives, even in a small way, to grow the hockey hobby. It's very easy to support us. You can do it for as little as $5 a month. Be one of the first 199 supporters of our show, forever have that title. You also get exclusive access to the Hockey Cards Gongshow Discord server. It's very easy to do. You go to our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com, click on the Become a Patron link, go to the Patreon website directly, patreon.com, and search for Hockey Cards Gongshow. There's a link in the show description if you're watching us on YouTube or listening to us on a podcast app. And then finally, there's a link in our Instagram and TikTok profiles as well. Since our last show, guys, we have one new supporter. Ian has joined our at a $199 support level tier. Thank you very much. We greatly appreciate your support from the bottom of our heart. Okay, Troy, you want to get ready with the game plan here?
We start today's show with a little curveball, but there's no way we could bury the lead on this one. The Hockey Cards Gongshow, some of us, went to the 2024 NHLPA Rookie Showcase event sponsored by Upper Deck. We will get into that, see how it went. More on that in just a sec. We then look at the almost greatest NHL player that we're at number 19. Next is Hobby News, followed by our weekly preview of some of our favorite hockey cards in the current Fanatics Collect Weekly auction. And we end the show with any personal hiccups.
All right, let's get right to it.
Let's hear it, boys.
Let's go. I want to know, man.
Check this out, though. I couldn't find a good logo. This was from the 2022 NHLPA Rookie Showcase. So that's what you get for a little bit.
Looks the same.
Yeah, about the same.
Yeah, they use the same logo for
did they?
The NHLPA. Yeah. They had nice sweatshirts, and Louie and I tried to finagle our way into one, and didn't happen. But yeah, okay, so we'll start from the top. Obviously, a really exciting and big day for our little show here. We had an amazing opportunity, courtesy of Upper Deck and the NHLPA, to attend this year's Rookie Showcase. It was today in Washington, D.C. It's something we've been working on for months.
Yeah.
Have to keep some secrets here around in this place. And originally, we had talked to Upper Deck about going to the draft, which, of course, would have been super cool this year, too, at the Sphere. Oh, my gosh. That would have been amazing. But I don't know what it came down to. It kind of made me think of, you guys ever seen the movie Caddyshack, where Bill Murray shows up at Chevy Chase's house and he wants to go swimming, and Chevy's like, well, we have a pool, we have a pond would be good for you. And maybe Upper Deck was like, yeah, Rookie Showcase is good for you. Regardless, though, they did us a huge solid and advocated for our little dopey little Hockey Cards podcast to attend the Rookie Showcase, which is crazy. It went as far as we had to get media credentialed by the NHL, which, believe me, is just as ridiculous as it sounds. Part of me too, like, imagine like how those conversations went, where like the NHLPA is like, "Excuse me, you want who to attend? Hockey Cards what show?" Yeah, something like that. Now, every amazing story has its ups and downs, trials and tribulations, and this story is no different. Of course, it was supposed to be Josh and Troy attending the 2024-25 NHLPA Rookie Showcase, but it ended up being Josh and Baba Louie. So now, Troy, this is where you come in and explain yourself to the audience why you were not there.
Oh, work life got in my way. I couldn't make it happen. I tried, but there's just too much stuff that was happening today, yesterday at my job. And so I could not go. And who knows? It probably might have worked out better that Baba Louie went because he was a whiz with the photo or video gear. So
Did you tell your boss, Troy, what you're missing? You're like, I hope you're happy. Yeah. I hope you're happy.
I go do this other thing that you pay me my salary, but can I go do this, please? No, I did not.
Why don't you call in sick like a normal person?
No, I can't do that.
I think
gotta be honest. Gotta be honest.
All right.
It was just a really bad turn of events because it was something that came up that it seemed like was not ordinary and just very poor luck and bad timing. So did you have FOMO today at all, Troy? Or were you?
Oh, I definitely was. I mean, I kept looking at my phone, seeing what time it was. And then I knew you're out East Coast, so I kept waiting for it to get to 11 o'clock our time because that would be noon. It was over. But I think you actually went past that because that's when the individual player stuff happened, right? Afternoon. And so, but you called me right away when it was done. So yeah, I was kind of just watching the clock.
Troy, be honest. You probably had a little voodoo doll of Josh and Troy just
Josh and Louie, I'm sitting there stabbing.
Yeah.
No, I want them to be successful.
No, of course.
Better this is the hopefully that leads to more opportunities.
Oh, it will.
Yeah, we gotta give a special thanks and thank God that we have a Baba Louie. Everybody needs a Baba Louie. If you don't have one, I highly recommend picking up one because they're really handy in a pinch. And Louie was huge in this case. Well, first of all, the show is kind of a monster and it requires, believe it or not, constant work to get out 2 shows out per week. And so there's not a lot of time for figuring out stuff like how to interview people in person, which we've never done here. So this is we don't have the equipment. We didn't have anything. And like I said, Louis took it on like a champ. He helped me figure out what equipment we needed. We got a wireless microphone system. We went to stores and tried to talk to people that we thought knew what they were talking about. And more importantly, he tested the dog snot out of it for about the past week. Louis was continually testing and doing very random weird tests too. He's all of a sudden I get a text. He's like, I'm 672 feet away from my house and the microphone works. And I'm like, it's good to know. Not sure how useful that's going to be considering the guys will be about a foot away from us.
I got to run it through its paces, buddy. Got to run them through their paces.
Get the reps in.
Yeah. Yeah. And so basically the goal was when we showed up that we would have even the slightest chance of appearing professional. And Louis, you did awesome and you pulled it off.
Thank you.
He even made awesome note cards. So they had 30 plus skaters there. And Louis comes armed like he's studying for a sophomore year biology midterm. And he's got every player and note cards, where they're from, how to pronounce their name. It was pretty amazing. And so I was really, really grateful to him for that. So a big part of this too is we're totally fish out of water. We have done nothing like this in the past. And we had really no idea what to expect once we got there. So we had gotten some sort of indication from Upper Deck, but again, they're coordinating with the NHLPA. And so they thought, well, there might be some one-on-one opportunities. There's a thing called a media scrum, where you've ever seen players outside the locker room or where there's a million microphones and you got reporters jockeying to answer questions.
Josh Madigan.
Josh Madigan, Hockey Cards reporter. and so we didn't know what we were going to do. Now we had put in requests for one-on-one interviews, but we're kind of told that might be a little bit of pie in the sky thinking. So of course we went big, right? We wanted Macklin Celebrini and Cutter Gauthier and Lane Hudson, our guy Leon Ogren, Josh Doan, and then a prospect from Maverick Bork, I think was the other one from Dallas. And it was really hard because as of this morning, we hadn't even heard back if we were going to interview these people or not. So we're trying to prepare last night and again, come off as remotely professional. But I think that part was a little bit of nerve-wracking, a little bit just kind of not knowing what to expect, being the fish out of water. And so again, I'm going to probably do this a lot because he deserves it. But thank God for Louis because he helped so much on the prep work
Stop.
and it was just amazing.
Stop
Aw.
it. Stop it.
Stop it.
Oh, you stepped over the touchdown call.
Yeah, that's all right.
Oh, sorry. This it's kind of like a pulls on the strings between two guys, though, because I keep harping on Josh. Did you hear back from him yet? Who do we got? Who do I need to make sure I'm focused on and all that? Oh, I haven't heard back yet. Quit asking me. And he's
Who haven't you didn't hear back from like your contact at Upper Deck? Like,
Yeah, they were trying to coordinate with the NHLPA, and once we got there and we understood that, and we'll kind of explain, I think, a little bit more in a minute. It was at the Capitals practice facility, and everything was like very stationed. Like they put these kids, I mean, they're like 19, 20 years old or something like that, through their paces. And they broke them up into little groups, and it was like you have to go to this station, that station. For like long form content like ours, I don't think there was a real organic opportunity to make that happen. And so we just sort of had to adapt. And that was kind of our whole plan is like we have no clue what to expect. We're just gonna adapt and go for it.
step
Yeah,
one.
it's not like Upper Deck was ignoring us or anything. It's just
No.
that the process works. I'm guessing. No, I wasn't there, but you two saw it firsthand. This is probably just how the process works. A lot of people there probably are all repeat people. So being us nerve wracked, kind of ADHD, trying to figure out what's going on, it gets a little stressful. But once you get there and see how it runs, I'm assuming you both now could do it again and be just like boom.
Yeah,
you'd have it down like pat what goes on. So it's not like so that's kind of how I looked at it.
I want to take a quick step back though and go back to when Troy found out, and you were very diplomatic because Troy, you were pretty bummed when you couldn't go, and then we found out we tried like a million ideas to try to make it happen, and it just wouldn't work. So you're out, and then I call Louis. I'm like, Louis, we need you to come to Washington D.C. So what was went through your mind, Louis, when you got that call?
Oh, bleep. Oh, here we go. All right. Fake it till you make it. Let's go. I'm in.
Yeah. And then we just got to work. Like I said, there's a lot of technical stuff to figure out. And again, we were totally fish out of water. And so, we got like basic info, like I said, from Upper Deck about like where to be, when it is, of course. I mean, that's real helpful. And as a media member, what we would be able to do. So the event was, of course, today in Washington, D.C. It was at the MedStar Capitals Iceplex. It's basically where the Capitals practice. I think all their like team offices. It's their home base, essentially. It's on the top floor of basically looks like a shopping mall or something like that, right, Louis?
8 floors up.
Yeah,
it's
on
like
the
the
8th
Wild
floor.
Trio rinks on the 8th floor.
Yeah, a little bit like that.
Guess
And
what floor Josh parked on?
Yeah.
That's another story going through that.
So it's a shopping center with a hockey rink on the top floor. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
Peculiar.
Yeah. And so, when we'll kind of get into that, but I got to start with, so yesterday we flew into DC, to be professionals, like we're hockey card journalists. So we had to be there on time. And so about noon yesterday, Baba, Louis, and I, we took our flight from MSP into Dulles International Airport in Washington, D.C. So first thing we do is we rented a car. We figured, well, we could spend like $4,000 on Ubers or cars. Troy's like, cars are really cheap. And he was right. I mean, it's like, that's a good place to rent a car. And we get on the shuttle bus, and it's like a 30-year-old dude who's got like a backpack, and the top is open, and there's like a Garfield stuffed animal, his head hanging out. And he's like with two buddies, and he was talking like very loudly the whole trip to the rental place where we pick up about all the drugs he smuggled past TSA.
Oh,
wow.
Okay.
Fun.
Yeah, very it's just kind of being obnoxious, right? So yeah, whatever. So we pick up our car. We head to Arlington, I think is where the Capitals place is, and checked into our hotel. Well, we had a free night last night, and I look on Google Maps, and we're like 7 or 8 miles from the White House and like the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial. it's 6 p.m. So we thought, oh, let's go check it out. Let's be tourists a little bit, in case like Louis ever decides to run for president. He's got to know
In
where he's
Louis
gonna
we
live.
trust.
Right.
In Louis we trust.
In Louis we trust, right? So here's our first lesson we learned in Washington, D.C. Like D.C. downtown where all the monuments and White House is, there's no parking.
Yeah.
Like we drove around for how about 45 minutes, Louis, literally just trying to find anywhere to park so we
Yep.
could go out and see like the Lincoln Memorial or anything like that, and literally could not find anything. Now I'd been to like DC a few times for work stuff, and I'd always heard and followed the rule of thumb that it's definitely like a public transportation city.
Yeah.
It's not as good to have a car. Like their metro is awesome. So yeah, that lived up to it. Plus, the car that we got at the rental was a Ford Expedition.
Is that all they had left, or what?
How was the gas?
I don't know. It was nice and comfortable, but not exactly like parallel parking material. We forgot to put gas in it. Oops.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So there's no place to park. We're driving around. Basically, we ended up doing like drive-bys on every major monument in DC. And Louis is like a golden retriever. He's got like his head out the window taking photos. So we can see.
Tourist, a regular tourist, eh?
Yeah. So here's our Washington Monument, right? That's from the car window.
Very erect. Oh, that's a real picture that Louis took?
Yeah, that's a real picture. That's
a
Louis.
good picture, Louis.
Yeah, real quick.
That's our tour. And then we did get Baba Louis his tour of the Pentagon is the next one.
That's the Pentagon?
Yeah.
Looks like Costco.
Costco with about 300 MPs with machine guns.
It's a very large building.
We kind of we came into DC on one side of it and out on the other side, so we got a little bit of a 360 view. So, Baba Louie, how was your tour of Washington D.C.? What did you think of all the sightseeing we did?
That was great. We might have found a place to park. I was chasing down a place for us to park and told them to take a left, and all of a sudden we got into a traffic jam on the freeway. That was a half an hour. Turn around, try to come back. Oh boy.
That's a great segue. The traffic situation in Washington, D.C., no bueno.
Yeah, it's not good.
Oh my God. It was brutal. Every place we would be going, we would get in the car, plug in the Google Maps. It would be 7 miles, 38 minutes to get there. So I don't know if I'd like living there based on that. And there's so many like interchanges. It was crazy. There's this, I wish we'd taken a picture of it. There was one like on the screen of the car, like for Google Maps, where I swear it was like 30 different highways intersected. So we did our little tour, and then we were hungry, of course, and we found this felt like a little bit of an upscale, like steakhousey. I think it was a chain. It's called Mike's American Grill, 2-story place, very nice ambiance. And Louis and I went to dinner. Now, food was great, but the dinner conversation was so much better than.
Was.
Good listener.
Wait for the next one. Yeah, if you're watching, it's pretty.
Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, it's both those clowns on their phones, not even looking, not even talking, just looking at their phones.
Work never stops, guys.
This was not staged either. This is totally organic. We each took this picture of each other, so we had to show it.
Is that you messaging Billy? What is going on? No one's messaged us. Oh my God, Billy, what's happening?
I was panicking because we had not gotten. We finally heard back like this morning, about 10 minutes before we got to the Capitals Iceplex. But so then after dinner, because we're professional journalists now, guys, we decided, well, we should be responsible. We went back to the hotel, worked on some player questions, right? Tried to be, like I said, responsible for once in our lives. And I didn't tell you this, Louis, but at one point at the restaurant, there was a little like, the devil on your shoulder kind of guy. He's like, oh, I wonder if there's a casino around here. Like 6 miles away was an MGM.
Oh.
And I'm like, and I knew, I'm like, if I utter those words out loud, there's a good chance Louis says yes. And I have no willpower to stop it. And then we would be, lose all our money and wake up on a alley somewhere and miss the whole thing. So yeah, we were responsible. We went back to the hotel.
Was the district clean? How is what? Like, because I heard, isn't it kind of the outskirts of Washington District aren't the most friendliest places to stop and ask for directions? So I mean, I've only what I've seen in movies. Is Washington District nice and clean? Your tax dollars hard at work, keeping the place nice and crisp.
Downtown DC was very clean, very busy.
So it's not a city,
maze.
right? I don't even know what is a district. It's
District of Columbia. Yeah, it's like it's just I don't know what you call it. It's the state capital or the country's capital, but I don't know. It's called not a city.
It's kind of like the Vatican. It's like its own entity within another entity. So
They
it's
have elections. It does have a high. It's got a high homeless population though.
Is there a mayor of Washington D.C.?
I think so.
Oh, Louis, I think you'd be good at the mayor. Start small, then work your way up.
Yeah, there you go.
Mayor of DC. It's perfect.
I kind of buried the lead. So we stayed in Arlington at, I can't even remember, some sort of like Marriott, and our hotel, Troy, had an IHOP connected to it. So talk about perfect for a couple of Minnesota boys. So we get up this morning, we go get ourselves some breakfast, and then we head to the event at the MedStar Capitals Iceplex, of course, home of the Washington Capitals. And right as we entered, right now we're feeling ourselves a little bit. We have to pick up our media badges, which again,
oh, that's awesome. That is awesome, boys. Professional. You made it.
Because we're professional hockey card journalists. Then we get in, we collect our badges, and almost immediately I send out like the text SOS to our Upper Deck contact, Amanda, who works on the sports cards marketing team, because Louis and I were like very obvious, like two kindergartners like lost on the first day of school. And like, no, we're like shaking,
holding
like,
the badges out everywhere you're walking.
Yeah.
Josh Madigan, media personality. Louis, media personality.
So I'll stop here for a second. And again, thank again, Upper Deck. They were so kind to us and they made us feel very comfortable. They helped us. They helped us reach our goal of sort of documenting this whole thing and then getting some player interviews. So couldn't have done it without them. Couldn't have done it without them advocating to us, to the NHLPA. So once again, thanks. Now we get ushered into the media section. So the media section includes a whole host of like real journalists.
Who'd you see?
I think more like US ones. There was some definite ones from I don't know. I didn't look at their names on their badges. Maybe you did, Louis, but there was a good amount of had to be from like Montreal, representing the Canadiens, because there's a bunch of Canadiens rookies in attendance, and so could pull those out. There's this guy named Russ Cohen who I think is going to come on our show. He had been to this event for 10 plus years.
Wow.
In a row. And also kind of your point, Troy, they were more the grizzled vet and kind of knew what to expect.
Shows up 1 minute before it starts because he already knows.
Yeah, he knows. There's no point getting there early. He takes a drag of his smoke. He's got his little notepad. Was Samantha Ponder there?
No, I don't know.
She's not a hockey person, I don't think.
No, she's a very professional ESPN reporter that came to
She just got let go, though.
She got let go.
Yeah, I know. That's why I thought maybe she's available. Hi, I'm Phil.
Phil, is this the part where we need to explain to you, like, getting let go from your job doesn't mean that, like, you lose, like, your boyfriend or husband, too?
Things sound a little rocky for Samantha. That's all I'm saying.
Former Vikings quarterback.
Oh, Sam Ponder? That's who that is?
Yeah, it's Christian Ponder.
That's Christian.
She took his name? Oh, I'm over her. I didn't know she took his name.
So like I'm saying, there's like a dozen like real journalists, like TV cameras, people that were like good looking, like TV personality types, and us. So it's like, what are we doing here? We kind of get that imposter syndrome a little bit happening there. And so, but to get serious, I guess, for a second, the reason why we're there is that Troy and you and I have talked about this a lot, and all of us here on this show, we think it's super important for the NHL, NHLPA, and Upper Deck to continue to bridge the gap and draw further connections between the players and the hobby. And we're committed on our show to help make that happen. And we were, I guess, representing the hobby in that regard, as really the only representatives of the hobby at the show, because everyone else was an NHL writer or TV personality there, which was intimidating, as we'll find out in a second. And yeah, again, we didn't know what to expect. And like I said, the whole place was set up into sections. So in the complex, on one side you have one ice rink, on the other side you have the other, and then you have like they had locker rooms with different stations set up to different things with the players. And one of the things we learned right away is that this is really a 2-day event. And today, when we were asked to come during like the media availability, it's really day 2, and it represents Upper Deck's first crack of getting photos and videos and some interviews with all of these athletes. Even EA Sports was there doing stuff with the rookies for NHL 25. Like one of the things that the athletes said they did with EA is, and I'm sure this was videotaped for social posts or whatever, they had to guess their rating, and then it was revealed to them. So they
Nice.
found out. Do you remember who it was that it was one of the? I think the Logan Morrison from the Kraken had said like he had guessed like 68 and it was 74, so he was pretty pumped about
he was
that.
higher than he wanted.
Yeah, it came out back higher than he wanted.
Do you get into like the jerseys and stuff
Oh yeah.
for the players? Okay, sorry.
So you saw them wear like 500 and take them off?
No, we didn't. We didn't see that part. It is though the first time that they put on their NHL jerseys in a uniform at this event. So a lot of them were kind of, soaking it all in for themselves.
Yeah.
Really for the first time. I think in total they said today that 36 of the top, 24, 25 NHL rookies were in attendance. So here's like if you're watching on YouTube, here's when they were kind of doing the main group shot, like right before, and kind of the players were joking around with each other. The guy in the ref's uniform there with the camera on the right, that's Nick Wazuka.
Nice.
He was episode 191.
Yeah.
We interviewed him because he's taken a bunch of Young Guns photos. We got to say hi to him. He was super busy. I think he has a pretty big role in this whole thing right now. And so this was on one side of the arena, what they called, it was the light ice, right? Isn't that how they put it, Louis?
Yes.
It's like thinner?
No, it's all the lights were on. And then they had so first of all, I should say 36 players are there, all the big names, right? So Macklin Celebrini, Will Smith, Cutter Gauthier, Matt Michkov, Lane Hudson, who's like very tiny, by the way, Matt Rempe, who is huge.
He was there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
he was awesome. He was awesome.
He looks like a lot of fun, man. He looks like a good character.
He was the first athlete, I think, that we got to speak with.
Oh, there he is. If you can see my mouse over his helmet
he's in
on
back.
YouTube. Yeah.
So all the big rookies, and again, I already said it's like the first time they're wearing their uniforms, so they're kind of pretty jazzed about that. And of course, they're the Fanatics jersey. Ooh. So as you can see, like right there, Bichel from the Fanatics F right above his name is on.
That's going into a hockey card, probably.
Oh yeah,
the font's different.
What
on the Fanatics?
Yeah, a little bit, eh? A little tighter.
No. I think it was the normal.
Oh, maybe it's just a picture.
Sort of Fanatics F logo. Okay, so this is the light ice side of the arena. And then they had the other side was that they called like the dark ice. And that's where all the lights were off. They had like mood lighting. They would have fog machines to get those kind of really kind of cool shots. They were much more, I would say like overall the event, and Lou, you can chime in here too, was very laid back. They were pretty accommodating as far as like where we could go, what we could do, but they didn't want us to like share any player images on this side because I think that they want the finished product. And again, this is the first time these players were in their uniforms, so I don't think there's images of Macklin Celebrini on the ice in a Sharks uniform yet.
Right. So they think you're gonna take a picture of Rempe and call TSN and be like, "Hey, Bob McKenzie, you want give me $500? I'll give you a picture of Rempe."
I saw a bunch of people tweeting them out though, like that were the group picture you can show, like that's like the first time. Even Upper Deck posted that. So
I think the big thing with that dark ice, if we call it over there, and a bunch of people over there snapping pictures and flashes going off when they got their own, lighting and all that stuff going on for all these players.
Well, they fit the bill. They call the shots. That's how I see it, right?
Absolutely.
This half, I think, was Upper Deck, and then the other half, there's a big partition basically on the red line, and the other half was EA Sports for them to do whatever kind of shots that they need. And I think that was in conjunction with the NHLPA.
Well, you said they were
There.
wearing the suits, right? Did they have to do this? Did you see them wear the suits with the green ball or the little balls on
No,
them?
I saw like
Oh.
this big, like in one of the locker rooms, they had like this big orb that had like,
Oh, like doing 360 stuff?
yeah, it looked like
Mm.
some sort of fancy machine. So my guess is that we didn't really we're hockey cards journalists.
Yeah.
We're not video games journalists. So we were
What
basically,
if all three of us went and I just wandered off and stayed with EA the whole time? Like, hey guys,
what does this ball do when you knock it over?
You'd have
Oh.
had a lot of fun, Troy, in that light ice side though, because they are actually, from what I heard, we were still too busy doing interviews with the guys in the hallway, but they were actually taking shots and having them practice their sellies,
that's
doing
awesome.
different stuff over there. That was
Do you want me to go out and critique the goalies? Be like, hey, come here.
Yeah. Give him some tips.
You want to hear like the most embarrassing part of the day for me? So at one point I had to tinkle, and you had to go through the light ice arena to get to the men's room. And I'm literally walking by like behind a net, and one of the rookies just launches one at the glass right at my head.
Did you dribble?
And maybe
or
a
drop.
little. And I also hit the deck. I mean, it scared the crap out of me. And then they're all laughing at me.
Louis, we have to leave. I've soiled myself.
Give me that mic. You take care of it. I got this.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, that's fantastic.
So we spent the most part like in the main like hallway in between the two arenas, where they had basically the media set up, and that's where they had like a backdrop with the logo of the Rookie Showcase and Upper Deck behind it, and they sort of brought players either in groups or one by one to do these scrum interviews. And this is sort of the main thing. We did it for like 2.5 hours today, and it's just like you would see in the movies, right? You're kind of jockeying, you got to get in position, you got to stick your microphone in the player's face, and there's a bunch of reporters, and of course they've got some like Matt Rempe comes first, and they've got these really amazing questions for him. They're
Is
like,
that your microphone, Josh?
Yep.
yeah, that's me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
baby.
Brody. Right on.
That's me. And then Baba Louie's behind me videotaping there. And so like they're asking him, it's like, who is the LaRoche? Is that the big like enforcer? Like they were asking him, like he worked with some old like NHL tough guys, and what did he focus on at the end of the season? And there's so many people around there, and I don't know the etiquette. Is there like a pecking order? Like what do you do in this situation? So I let like 5-6 questions go by, and then at some point I just closed my eyes and I'm like, we're here. F it. I'm going for it.
You're brave
And I just
enough.
started
You're strong
blurting out.
enough.
I just started yeah, gosh darn it, people like me. I just started blurting out questions.
Yeah.
And
Love it.
and kind of didn't stop the whole time. Like I can't wait to we're gonna need time to do like editing and make these presentable, but there's a couple questions that I'm really excited for people to see, because I got a little more confident. I think like with Rempe, it was a little more vanilla. You know, I was kind of getting finding my groove.
You cracked the egg really quick though. Once Rempe was done, you were like, I got this. I'm in here. Let's go.
And you're tall, Josh. That's got to help.
Yeah, well, there's like nudging. Like people are trying to get position, and everyone's got they're either recording or they've got like their phones in there, and like
Well,
a
the
lot
one
of
guy's
these
got a phone. It's transcribing it. I can
yes,
see.
that's what I was just gonna say. They've got all these AI programs that transcribe it. And what's kind of crazy, and we're sort of, I don't even know like where I have this in my notes, but if you go to this is ridiculous, right? It sounds insane saying this. The Washington Times did an article about this event today, and they kind of had it hobby focused, and they have tons of quotes from NHLPA director Marty Walsh to a lot of the athletes there. And all the quotes were questions I asked.
Yes, Josh, on the map, buddy. Yes.
Because I was the one, like, they were asking, it's like, so like, you know, like you had a great season in the CHL last year. You know, what do you think? How do you think that'll translate to the NHL? What are your goals for the upcoming season? And then I would be like, do you think your mom's going to want to collect your hockey cards?
That's my boy. That's awesome,
No,
man.
you
Oh, I
got good
can't wait.
questions. And I mean,
No.
listen, we don't toot our own horns, but I think it's nice to see someone asking hockey card questions at this
Absolutely.
thing,
Yeah.
with it being sponsored by Upper Deck. And really, a lot of the reasoning is, Party A Sports, but the main reason is Upper Deck to get their pictures, jerseys, all that stuff going. So it's awesome that
No,
you two,
100%.
Louie and Josh, could go there and Josh to ask questions.
Horns are tooted. Horns are tooted.
Every guy that Josh was asking hockey cards questions to, it's like it took this whole like professional question thing out of everybody, because every time he'd ask a hockey card question, or are you excited to see your card, or whatever he asked, everybody in that scrum had a smile on their face, like,
Nice.
this is fun, this is what I want to hear, this is good.
So that's good. So the players like it. They want more.
Everybody loved it. Yeah,
taps into childhood wholesomeness. There's it's awesome, man. You resurrect old feelings from people's past. Everyone in sports probably has some type of personalized story they can tell about a hockey card or some type of card. So when they're smiling and it kind of released some tension, everybody exhaled, maybe.
Yeah, it felt good after that. Josh,
Josh
nailed it.
We got in at least 2 questions with every athlete. Some we got like 4 to 5 questions in and had like little mini conversations. There's one part though where I did chicken out. I do have to admit it. And I don't even know how much this is so stupid. I don't even want to bring it up.
No. Say it now. I gotta know what's going on.
Okay, so there's this thing, and this is pure love. I swear to God, there's no malice here. And I'm gonna say it ridiculous because I have to. I can't say it normal.
I should just grab the card.
Freaking love the town Guelph.
Guelph, Ontario?
Guelph.
Well, it's a university town. Now, a lot of guys like Guelph, Ontario.
Like when we're driving to the expo and we pass like the signs, we just go into Guelph mode. Guelph mode in the card. And
word.
yeah, we just love saying the word. And Logan Morrison is the guy he's from Guelph. So I wanted to ask him. like Logan, did you ever think that a small kid from humble beginnings from Guelph would ever make it?
He probably wouldn't get it. Like
they would immediately just be like, "Come with us, sir."
They rip your pass off.
They wouldn't have got the bit, and they wouldn't have got that. It's like, but it probably would have thought I was like making fun of him.
Or
so I wanted to do that. That was for me. That would have been just so dumb, right? Who cares? But I want more than anything in life a Guelph Storm like hoodie. Like that is my mission. And I'm so obsessed with that. And so yeah, I did chicken out there. Now one thing that was kind of interesting is with the Russian guys.
Yeah.
It got a little awkward because a lot of them don't speak the best English. And this kid, he's a Winnipeg Jets rookie. They're all kids, but his name is Nikita Chiprikov. He basically was the interpreter for all, because he spoke the best English of all the Russians. And so here, if you're watching on YouTube, is when we had the opportunity to ask Matvei Michkov photos, and he probably spoke the least amount of English that I would say of any of the Russian players. And so basically, like you'd expect, the reporters had to ask Nikita the question, and then he would relay it to Matvei. And his English wasn't that great either. So that one was, I think this is the only one I didn't ask a question, because I just felt like our dumb questions were going to get completely lost in translation. The one thing I'll say about the Russians though is they're pretty funny. Like they had an edge to them, and they were kind of like needling each other a little bit. Like who's the Capitals guy? Miroshchenko, right? Is his name? He's the big Capitals rookie. Him and Michkov were kind of, I think they're friends, but they were like kind of needling each other in a playful way to like, I think a reporter asked like Miroshchenko, like what's some advice you would give to Michkov coming over, and he'd be like, "Oh, stay in Russia" or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, everybody starts laughing in that. So it was nice for that Jets rookie, that Nikita Chiprikov, to act as the interpreter. And like I said, I can't wait for the interviews to come out, because in particular, I asked some pretty good questions to Macklin Celebrini and Will Smith from the San Jose Sharks, as we know. I even got a question that was quoted in the Washington Times article to the NHLPA executive director Marty Walsh, who I think was the mayor of Boston at one point. Asked him about some hockey cards. I think in total it was something like, what was it, Baba Louie, like 10 to 12 maybe players we got to talk to, something like that.
Did you get my boy Yakimchuk
Yeah.
on Ottawa?
He was there,
No.
but he didn't come through the media part of it.
I think we had, I want to say there was 1, 2, 3, 4 sessions going on, 4 or 5 different like stations for these guys, and we only got 3.5
Okay.
to come through.
You got Celebrini, though.
Then time just ran out. I mean, it was start and over. Like, it was the fastest 2.5 hours ever.
Yeah, it must have went quick, eh? Like a fever dream when you're walking out of the building. Did you look at each other and say, like, what just happened? Like, what happened? It's wild.
We were the whole time we were like, I can't believe we're doing this. And it was such, like I said, the imposter syndrome. At times there was like some like little bit like awkward moments too, where so they would have like Macklin Celebrini came by himself, but for instance, they had like Cutter Gauthier and Olin Zellweger from the Ducks that interviewed together, and they did it with like Lane Hudson, and then I can't remember the kid's name, another defenseman for the Canadiens. And what was interesting about that, and you could tell that everyone was keyed into this, that like you have Cutter Gauthier and Olin Zellweger. Zellweger's a good player, but all the questions are going to Cutter Gauthier, and the poor Olin kid is just like sitting there.
That's
And then at some point, like they start to feel bad, and so I don't know how, I think the NHLPA was trying to get as many players through, and some media, and I'm not even sure these kids have done this much. This could have been like their first like scrum.
Well, I was curious because like with media training, like when I played a sport in college, we had media training. We actually were taught how to handle
smart.
interviews. And
yeah, that's smart.
the only thing I ever remembered was answer the question you want. So whenever they ask you, you just answer whatever question you want, and they'll never like get. That's what the best way to do it. But yeah, I bet a lot of these kids, CHL, I'm like, do you think they teach these 15, 16-year-old kids? And when they get to college, NCAA for sure does it. But again, these are 18-year-old kids. 19.
Did you really notice the age? Like, because you're a father to a young man. Like,
yes,
I'm a father to a young man, so we see them on TV, and it's
it made it easier, Phil, because it was so not intimidating knowing my son is literally the age of these kids. So it's
I
like
will end you.
I kind of wanted to like give him like dad advice,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, we're at the peak fatherhood of like our young men turning into older men, and that's what these kids are, right? Except our kids didn't make it to the show. Way to go, Cole.
To your point though, Troy, about media training, 100%. Like the two areas I noticed that the most were, number one, of course, Cutter Gauthier was asked immediately about the whole Philadelphia situation, and he was pretty smooth in how he like
practiced.
He was like ninja deflecting. You ain't getting me, right? And then, of course, lots of guys were asked about Johnny Gaudreau.
Yeah,
and to get there, which man is putting like an 18-year-old on the spot. Well, and because this draft too has tons of guys that played college hockey in the Boston area. You've got Cutter Gauthier, you've got Celebrini, Will Smith, you have Lane Hudson, right? They all either went to BU or Boston College, and so that sort of thing, and they handled it very well. You could tell that they were prepped to be able to do that. We also got the opportunity that we'll play soon. We got to interview Amanda, who is kind of our host from Upper Deck, and just got some really good info from her on like why Upper Deck does this event. And that's a big part of, I think, why we're asked to go, again, to help translate to the hobby and create awareness around the hobby that these stuff happens in the background, and it's kind of an important step in ultimately getting these rookie cards out and some of the marketing materials that they use. So all in all, awesome experience. So I have like a little bit, and Louis, you can add some to this too. Sort of like some like quick like takeaways and observations. Troy, the Flyers goalie prospect Ivan Fedotov
Oh my god.
is
Is
so
he a
big.
big man?
Oh my god, it broke my brain. It literally, I kept saying to Louis, I can't believe how big this guy is.
Like Ben Bishop big?
Oh, well, like Troy's talked for ever since we started the show, like how you have to be like 6'5" to be an NHL goalie now.
Yeah, it's
He
like
looks
six,
like
6'1" is the average, or 6'1" was the smallest, I think, last year. Dustin
Really?
Wolf, I think, was the smallest.
Holy crap, I
Louis
didn't
swears
know
he's
that.
like 7 feet on skates.
He's 7 feet on skates. He came through walking through that. Now I watched this because at first when I was watching the guys go out onto the rink, I watched Rempe walk out there and he had to kind of do a little, under
Little
the top of the door thing.
Dipped.
This giant, I mean, he literally, I'm not kidding. The kid had to kind of do one of these and come. I'm like, who are you? It's unbelievable.
Love at first
how big
sight, eh,
he
Louis?
was. Oh my god.
I couldn't. It broke my brain how big he was. On the flip side, and there's a lot of buzz around this kid, and he was awesome in college. Lane Hudson is tiny,
Yeah.
Like 5'8", 5'7"?
something like that. Just
Really?
On skates,
he-
maybe.
On his card, it says that.
Oh, Theron Fleury styles, eh?
Yeah, he was
Wow.
like,
Or
he had every
Bedard.
size
Bedard's
in
tiny.
between. Matt Rempe was pretty big. Cutter Gauthier is pretty big. Will Smith and Macklin Salbrini are on the smaller side, both of them a little bit. There was some fun questions between them because they were rivals in college, and now they're on the same team, and that gets pretty heated there between Boston University and Boston College, and so there's kind of some fun questions around that. Speaking of like Cutter Gauthier and Olin Zellweger, the new Mighty Ducks jerseys, oh my lord, are
Fire?
they awesome?
Yeah?
Oh my
sick.
lord,
Nice.
Did they,
amazing.
Can you see him in the group photo?
Maybe a little bit
Sorry, I'll go back here.
up close and personal though.
Oh, it's right here. You can see it, 61.
You got to go share the image though, Troy.
Hey, that would help. So I can see.
Yeah, they're all.
Whoa,
So that's Zellweger, I think.
right
Number
there.
50.
And there's another one down here. You can kind of get a better. They've released these, right? Like we're not.
Oh yeah, I mean we
Oh,
got
yeah.
it. They're all orange.
Oh, it's amazing.
Awesome.
I like the old Capitals jersey. You're bringing it back.
Yeah.
Nice.
The patches are going to be insane. Like they're just going to be sick, ridiculous. Also,
Hmm.
the Utah jerseys are amazing. They're awesome. The colors are great. They've got like, they're going with the old Utah Hockey Club vibe this
I
year
like it.
while they settle on a name. And we got to talk to Josh Doan a little bit and had some great questions for him too. But the jerseys look awesome. There's not going to be people disappointed.
No.
I think in this kind of transition year, it's like a black and blue and white kind of color theme. Awesome. They just look
I'd leave it.
fantastic.
I'd leave it. I'd be totally fine being there, being called the Utah Hockey
Yeah,
Club.
I'm
Those
with you,
jerseys
Louis.
are sick.
I
They
love
look
it.
amazing. What's wrong with that name? But
Great.
whatever.
Yeah, so the whole thing was pretty quick, and it went by like in snap of a finger kind of thing where I couldn't believe it was over.
So
It was
proud
also
of you
kind of
guys.
funny, in 2.5 hours of scrums, you wouldn't believe like how sore your arm gets holding a microphone. and then so I go to complain to Louis, and he just goes, "Stop it!" My arm hurts so bad. 'Cause he had the camera up. Like I said, it's like TV cameras and Baba Louie with this little
Work.
setup in between. But
The microphone
yeah.
looked pro in that picture. You look the best, Josh, with the microphone. Everyone wants a
Yeah.
big microphone. Who wants a phone in their face? It's silly. You look good,
yeah,
man.
all the
Proud of you.
media peoples used their kind of
Serious.
their iPhones. So
I have some questions before we move on. I
Yeah.
wrote them down while you were talking.
Okay.
So what is an IHOP like Denny's? Is
It's
what
do you know what Waffle House is down south? in
Well, I'm
the US?
assuming it's Waffle House.
No, it's nicer than a Waffle House. It's It's just a pancake.
It stands
International
for-
House of Pancakes. Yeah.
Okay, because I love Denny's. So Denny's is the best. Okay, number 2, Josh, did Louis do your makeup for the camera? Who did your camera? Who did the makeup? You don't have to answer that. We're
No, you'll see on my interview with Amanda, there was a little bit of a lighting issue
okay.
because I'm not like short. I'm a little on the taller side.
Foundation. It'll solve that.
It was more like we even like it got kind of ridiculous. We like Upper Deck it was in their like social media room where they were like interviewing all the players for social media.
Oh, it's so cool.
And we made them like shut off all the lights. We got a little.
Did you light a
we
candle?
were feeling ourselves. It's like, excuse me, we're hockey card.
Sorry,
Yeah.
we're kind of a big deal. Okay, 2 more things. It's George LaRock, not LaRoche.
Oh, LaRock. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No
Thank
problem. And lastly, I have to defend my country. You make fun of Guelph when you live near a Minnetonka, I believe. That is much cooler and
Hey,
funner
that's a
to say.
native heritage, baby.
I
Well,
don't make
still
fun.
awesome.
And it's Guelph. It's not-
Minnetonka, Minnetonka.
Hey, we got
It's
Tonka trucks.
100%
You ever
out of
play with the
love.
Tonka truck as a kid?
I like saying Minnetonka.
Have you ever worn Minnetonka moccasins? Troy, remember when those were in Louis?
Oh,
where those were
boy.
in high school? Everybody had to have a
Are
pair of
those still
Minnetonka
things?
moccasins.
No.
I know Red Wing shoes are still a thing.
We had to have Doc Martens in high school.
Yeah, ditto. Yeah, and your Vans and Converse or Chucks. When you guys getting me some Minnetonka stuff?
Chucks.
I want that. for November.
I'm waiting for us to get our order sheet.
Okay.
can't
I'll
wear
just-
it on the-
Coaches will get our sheet and we tell them what we want for our gear, and then
Nice. Thanks, Troy. Come
You,
through.
you don't want any. You don't
Look-
need any.
the the logo is better than the other thing you guys like. I think I like saying Minnetonka.
Oh, I like saying Guelph.
Minnetonka. All right, let's go.
Yeah, so it was like over and then we basically hopped back in the car, headed back to the airport. But because we're total degen hockey card collectors, we had to find a card shop.
Woo!
Of course.
And so it was about, I don't know, 10 minutes away from the arena,
Nice.
something like that, Louis.
Mhm. Yep.
Name was Collectors World. Really big shop. We
Yeah,
met
it's
the
massive.
owners, Damon and Steven, and chatted with them a little bit. They said that the hockey hobby in the DC area is very small but passionate, which sounds like everywhere else in the United States.
Yeah, it's identical.
Yeah. Then we headed back to Dallas, hopped on a plane, literally got home 20 minutes before we started recording this show. And come tomorrow, I'll be exhausted. So, yeah. And then,
Proud of
like
you
I
guys.
said,
That's awesome. Proud of you. On behalf of the hobby, you're my boys. This I can't wait. This is going to open a lot of doors. Here we go.
well, again, that's the goal, right? Is to, just like Michael Rubin's done, right? When you got Tom Brady opening up packs of football cards at card shops, right? We need all to kind of band together and get more athletes involved in the NHL. And if we can be a small part of that or a small vehicle for them to do that, then that would be amazing. And we're happy to be of service, of course, in that regard. And like I said, we're going to need some time to edit all the interviews, and we'll kind of figure out a way over probably the next week or two to kind of add those in as content to the show. We'll do some probably social videos with that. I got to again thank our boy Baba Louie, total pro with the camera. Even though again both our arms got sore, but we powered through it. And then special thanks to Paul and Amanda at Upper Deck, and then Andrew and Adrian at the NHLPA for being very kind,
Yep.
accommodating, and helping us, give the hobby some insight into this world.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And maybe we'll get invited back. I don't know. Maybe we screwed it up.
Not if they watch this.
Yeah. We'll see. All right. Got to make a quick mention for Gongshow partner sponsor Slab Sharks. We are thankful for their support of our show. The current Slab Sharks weekly eBay auction ends tonight. There's more than 1,800 amazing items for you to choose from, mostly hockey, thank God. This is a really good one, folks. When I was looking through it again, I was like,
Dang!
that was an actual recording that Baba Louie took of me looking through the Slab Sharks auction. You probably don't know that. But again, many super nice cards. Do yourself a hobby favor. Head to slabsharks.com. Check it out for yourself. Get those bids in. And of course, if you're wondering why are so many ridiculous hockey cards in this week's Slab Sharks auction, It's because they are the eBay consignor of choice for Canadian hockey cards collectors. They have these amazing weekly auctions where it feels like the whole hobby's at. And they make your life simple and hassle-free by basically doing all the work. Yes, Louis, you can be lazy and make money. It's your dream. All you got to do is drop your cards off with Slapsharks. They take care of the rest. They'll take great photos, list the cards for you. If a bidder or buyer has questions, they'll answer them so you don't have to. If the buyer doesn't pay timely, they'll hunt it down for you. Slapsharks has a shipping down pat, not just to Canada, but to the US too. So you don't have to worry about any of that. And then most importantly, they'll handle any post-sale issues. So do yourself a favor. Head to slapsharks.com today. Check out all the info on consignment, including payout rates, and to get the process started today. Now, for the first time ever, we don't start the show with the greatest.
I'm so confused. I don't know what to do.
All right, Troy. I need a break.
All right, here we go. Previously looked at the greatest NHL player that wore the number that matched our episode number. We ran through all the numbers, so now we're looking at the almost greatest NHL player to wear each number from the runners-up in the Hockey Writers' greatest NHL player to wear each number article. The almost greatest NHL player to wear number 19 per the nominees in the Hockey Writers' greatest NHL player to wear each number article, and selected by me is this guy right here, Joe Sakic. I love this picture because he's got sweet hair and the number 19 is very prominent. So I can I can actually tell you he was 19. Now, before we go any further, making a selection for the runner-up at number 19 was kind of like brutal. There's a pretty good list of players. I think Sakic's the right choice, but besides Sakic, the other runners-up were Brian Trottier, Shane Doan, Jonathan Toews,
Johnny Toes.
Now, that's just the runners-up. Those were the runners-up in the Hockey Writers article. You could also probably have a discussion around other players that wore 19. Larry Robinson, he was pretty good. Butch Goring, Marcus Naslund, Joe Thornton, Jason Spezza, Brad Richards, and Jean Rattel were all players that wore 19. Now, again, at the end of the day, I'd lean towards Sakic, but Trottier was very, very good as well, and has 6 cups, I think, or some a big number of cups. But we're gonna go with Sakic and 19 is stacked. As a reminder, the greatest to wear number 19 was Steve Yzerman. Everyone yells at me every time I say his name. Is it Yzerman?
No, Yzerman.
Yeah, that's what I say, Yzerman. But
no, you
sometimes
fine,
I go Yzerman.
No, you're saying it right. They're saying
Yzerman.
You have a Steve Yzerman disability. It's okay. We all.
Yeah, I know.
Not a big deal.
All right, Joe Sakic, center from Burnaby, British Columbia, Canada. Sakic was the 15th overall selection in the 1987 NHL entry draft by the Quebec Nordiques. Sakic played in 1,378 regular season NHL games. Over a 20-season NHL career, Sakic played his entire career with the Quebec Nordiques / Colorado Avalanche franchise. If you want the actual breakdown, 7 seasons with Quebec and then 13 with Colorado. For his awards and accomplishments, Hall of Famer, 2-time Cup winner as a player, 1-time Hart winner, 1-time Conn Smythe, 1-time Lady Byng, 1-time Ted Lindsay, 3-time NHL First All-Star Team selection, 13-time NHL All-Star Game selection, named to the NHL's greatest NHL players to play in 2017. His jersey, number 19, is retired by the Colorado Avalanche. For his career stats, 625 goals ties him for 16th all-time with Jerome Iginla, 1,016 assists, which is 13 all-time, for 1,641 points, which put him at 9th all-time. Sakic made the playoffs in 13 of his 20 NHL seasons, compiling 84 goals, 104 assists for 188 points in 172 NHL playoff games played. Best regular season of his NHL career from a point standpoint was his 95-96 season, where Sakic had 51 goals, 69 assists for 120 points in 82 games played with Colorado. All right, our boy Sakic, during his career, he was definitely one of the most productive players of his era. He scored 50 goals twice and scored at least 100 points in 6 different seasons. Sakic's wrist shot and snapshot are considered one of the best ever in the NHL. I can truly say I actually saw Sakic a couple times in person play against the Wild, And I have never seen a player with a shot that was as quick as his. It was insane how fast and how quick he got his shot off. Sakic was also known as one of the best leaders in the NHL, which should also serve him very well in his post-playing career. One of the most iconic videos of Sakic being a leader was when the Avalanche won the Cup in 2001. Whoops, I screwed up my picture. Sorry about that. I don't know where it went. Never mind. Okay, when Sakic gets the trophy, Stanley Cup from Gary Bettman, and immediately turns and hands it over to Ray Bourque. Instead, didn't want to hog the glory, gives it right to Bourque, who waited 22 seasons for that moment. And again, this is where I go on a soapbox and say this is why the NHL and hockey will always be the greatest sport, because at the end of the season, when it's the championship, they give the trophy to the players, not some stupid owner or executive like the other three major sports. Don't write to me about soccer. I know soccer, the players get it, but NFL, NBA,
right to them.
MLB, here, billionaire owner, have this trophy that you can probably not lift because you're 95 years old. But anyways, rant over.
Wow.
Okay.
Hot.
After retiring, Sakic took a couple years. Sakic took a couple years off to spend time with his family. In 2011, Sakic returned to the Colorado Avalanche front office as an executive advisor and alternate governor. On May 10th, 2013, Sakic was promoted to the executive vice president of hockey operations. The next season, Sakic was named the general manager of the Avalanche. On July 11th, 2022, Sakic was promoted to president of hockey operations, a role that he still holds today. So I will honestly say he's got a pretty successful post-playing career in the front office of the Colorado Avalanche.
Can we have a role here at this show for, what is it, alternate governor? I want to be that.
You vote on things.
That's
what you do. You go vote on things. Here, sorry. Here's if you're watching on YouTube, here's this picture I was trying to show of him handing the cup to Bourque that I
It's a classic picture, eh? For our guys our age, that's a classic. Cute. That's our history. That's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm gonna leave this one up for now. All right. Fun, interesting facts. Nicknames: Mr. Clutch, Super Joe, and Burnaby Joe.
I don't know. What do you think about that?
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't think there's the right Sakic nickname yet. He doesn't seem like, actually, some guys don't seem like they're nickname guys.
Yeah.
He seems just like Joe Sakic to me.
Yeah. All right, this one's one of my favorite. I like this one. Sakic was the third person ever to win the Stanley Cup with the same franchise as a player and general manager.
Whoa. Who are the other two?
Other two are Milt Schmidt and and from last episode, Serge Savard.
Yeah.
Phil dad hated player Serge Savard.
No, I didn't even find out. I should have called. Oh crap.
All right. Third fun fact. Sakic supposedly had an uncredited role in the movie Happy Gilmore as player at hockey tryouts.
Oh.
There you go.
Very descriptive role.
Yes. Josh, get ready.
Great.
Get ready. Hold on to your hat. Triple Gold Club alert. I need to make a sounder for that. We got a Triple Gold Club member, Sakic. He is a member. He won the Stanley Cup twice as a player with Colorado, won the Olympic gold with Canada in 2002 at Salt Lake, and the gold at the 1994 World Championship in Italy. But Josh, I feel like an infomercial. That's not all. Sakic also won a gold at the World Cup of Hockey in 2004. So I don't know if that's a Triple Gold Club Plus member, quadruple gold. Josh, please work on that.
And if you're new to the show, let me explain myself. I'm all on board with the Olympic gold medal. Totally about the World Championship gold medal. I have yet to have somebody explain to me how the silver Stanley Cup
gold ring.
qualifies
Gold ring.
you.
That's what we were told. Gold ring.
That's so weak. I just don't buy it.
No, Stanley Cup's better than everything you just said.
Yeah.
I would take Stanley
and
Cup.
It's silver. It's silver. It's not gold. So
Are we talking about money though? Like we want to make investments, or do we want pride and bragging rights?
No, but we're talking about the name Triple Gold Club. Like how you get that between 2 gold medals and a silver Stanley Cup, how that equals triple gold.
Gold's a placeholder for first place, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
not a descriptive.
That's my hang up. I get it. Nobody agrees. Let me be
I see where you're coming from. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I get it.
All right, last fun fact. Peter Stastny called Sakic a complete player and one of the greatest in history. There you go. That's for Josh. Loves Peter Stastny. Okay, here it is.
Hmm.
The
Worst
19,
rookie
his
card
rookie
ever.
card. It's like, to me, it is the best, worst rookie card ever.
Yeah.
It's kind of bad.
It's 1989 tops. We're going with the tops. We've talked about this many times. The tops is actually more valuable than the OPG, which is usually not the case. So it's number 113. PSA 10 pop count on the tops version, 17, a gem rate of 0.79%. Most recent sale of this card was for $4,881.22 US on March 30th, 2024 via Golden. It is just the worst, best rookie card ever.
Why does it look like he's wearing like goalie upper body gear?
I know he's got huge shoulder pads. I mean, it's if you couldn't see a hockey glove, I mean, is even if you didn't know what this logo was, like it looks like a bad glamour shot or something. It's just
Looks like an upside down elephant or something.
it's
I've
just
always thought it
something
looked
else.
like an elephant.
It is.
We should
it
do
is
with
something
certain
else.
cards like caption contests. That would be a great caption contest card.
Yeah.
People, I bet,
definitely.
would come up with some amazing things. So, what's the vibe on Joe Sakic in Canada? Like, where is he like fit
Oh, he's a legend.
into?
He's great. He's
Yeah.
just not very well, I'm sure he's personable. He's not
reserved, maybe like
yeah, he's very reserved. I mean, we like loud guys. Like no one likes Sean Avery, but everyone wants to hear what he had to say when he was being a jerk, you know? So Sakic has what Daniel Alfredson has, the utmost respect.
Yeah.
They're quiet leaders. Troy, I do gotta say, 19's a hard one, brother. Because Yzerman to me, Yzerman and Sakic are almost hand in hand. They're both centers. Then you got Brian Trottier as well. Those three are tied. The thing is, I never saw Trottier play, but everyone you talk to, man, said Brian Trottier is one of the most underrated hockey players of all time. And then you have Larry Robinson. I can't believe you didn't get death threats for that, not picking him. You know?
Well, they're coming, I'm sure.
Yeah. So those four to me are.
If I remember right, I think Trottier too. I don't know. He was. We talked a name about him. I think he was indigenous, right? He was an indigenous.
Yes,
player?
yeah, he is.
Yeah,
I don't know a lot about him at all.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
well, that's awesome. That's really cool.
All right. Well, good job, Troy. And hey, Troy, this is basically your show, man. You're
I
just gonna
guess.
keep rolling with
All right, hobby news.
News from the hobby.
that was not very coordinated.
Very not coordinated.
It's
That's
late.
all right. It is late. Okay, here we go. Everyone in Edmonton, rest easy. Rest easy. Deep breaths. Your boy, Leon Draisaitl, Josh's boy, is getting paid. The Oilers star agreed to an 8-year, $112 million contract to stay put with the Edmonton Oilers. It's $14 million average annual value. The contract will kick in the 25-26 season, and Draisaitl is set to become the highest paid player in the NHL when the contract starts. I didn't put the picture up. I wish I would have. Someone in our Discord, Cigar Scott, I think, put it up. So if in the NHL, this would be the highest paid player. He's number one. I think it's NBA. He'd be the 117th highest paid player. NFL's like 91st or something, or maybe MLB. And then MLB's or the other one's 97. So it's just crazy how the highest paid player in the NHL is like 90th or worse than any other.
Well, I saw a lot of people being like, oh my gosh, the good luck to be, for the Oilers in their bottom six. And I had the same thought where I just we talked about it maybe a week or so ago when you have Stephen Curry signed like a 1 year, $63 million extension. It's like, I don't think we should be offended that a hockey player makes $14 million.
Yeah. No, we'll get it. Well, I get into a little bit of it.
Okay.
Just that's kind of the discussion around it. So Draisaitl's current contract, that the one that's going to end after this season, is 8 years, $68 million, which you look back, holy cow, was that a steal for the Oilers, because he has played way past that contract. And he signed it in 2017. And since that time, Draisaitl has the second most goals and points by any NHL player.
Wow.
So congratulations on that.
Wow.
Contract,
That's big.
Yeah. So the big question now, does this signing help sway Connor McDavid to stay in Edmonton now that Draisaitl is locked up? McDavid's current deal ends after the 25-26 season, and then he's an unrestricted free agent. I saw a lot of pundits saying they had to talk to each other. They just had to.
Yeah.
And like figure out what each one's doing. We'll see what happens. You never know.
But he's not going to make less.
No, he's going to be number one. I bet when he
Phil, if you pay Draisaitl 14, what are you expecting to pay McDavid a year then?
Well, two things. To me, when Draisaitl signed this, that means 100% to me McDavid staying. They were like, oh, they're not really allowed to talk. Stop. Just stop. Of course, McDavid's not going anywhere. I don't know, man. Might push maybe 3-4 million more than him. You know,
yeah, I was thinking
15,
16 to 18,
15,
somewhere
16.
in there.
Oh, you think almost 18, Troy? Oh my God, that's crazy.
It's hard with Canadian teams because you guys
the tax.
It's really hard. Your taxes.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I mean, thank God there's players that play there, but I don't know why everyone doesn't move to Florida and play for one of those teams. You would, I mean, obviously, I get it. Your team, you want to win the cup and everything, but man, you make about what 30 to 40% more just living there.
I don't need to play
income
hockey.
Tax.
Yeah. The taxes are just. That's a different thing up here.
I mean, that's always been. I remember that's always been an issue there. Even in the 80s, I think people were talking about the taxes up in Canada. Okay, one thing to note is that Draisaitl will almost be 30 years old when his new contract starts, and will run through his age 37 year. So when this new contract kicks in, Edmonton will have $26.5 million tied up between two players, which would be around 30% of their cap space. And give or take, now you got to remember the cap's going to increase. I don't know how much. And then you have the next year where McDavid's going to sign a huge deal. However, none of this is like Toronto, where they have like, what is it, 40 to, or is it 50% of their cap tied between four players? Mm-hmm. But two of those roll, I think Marner and someone else.
To your point, I think you don't do a deal like this without making at the very least an educated bet that the cap is going to go up, and so you're where it's going to be the 14 will be a lot those first couple years, but by the end of 8 years, if he's playing well, it might even be a steal at that point.
Yep. So at the end of the day, I feel Edmonton did the right thing. Maybe in the short term, maybe they're trying to win now. Still long term, I'm just jaded because the Wild with the Parisian Suter deal that just didn't work out at the end. I'm always jaded about the big deals, but hey, you got to sign him. He's got to get paid. He's a fantastic player.
Risk you have to take.
It's a risk you have to take. I mean, you got to do it.
Wait, I forget, Louis and Troy. Was it 10 years? Is that how long the Suter and
13
Marcelo thrower?
13 years.
That'll never happen. And
I didn't. No, remember when
Draisaitl is a much better player too.
Who was it? Was it Dag that they tried to circumvent the cat? Like they did like a 15-year or something.
That was Garth Snow, wasn't it?
No, I thought it was Alexander Dag or Yashin, or was it Yashin?
It was a goalie. A goalie made like.
I'm not sure. I don't think it was a sender. I could be wrong.
Louis, you want to look that up?
So one of those players. Louis, give us who
I'll
tried
give you that.
It got the contract at the end of the day got I don't know what you want, canceled by the NHL. They didn't let them do it. Okay.
Hey, hold on before you jump any farther, because I was looking up something else. The cap for
88 million.
23-24 was 83.5, and now 24-25 it's 88. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let's go. Draisaitl's a 2014 Young Guns, PSA 10 Papa 976, gem rate of 58%. I haven't seen any sales since the news was announced, so I didn't look today. I should have, which was terrible on my part. But recent eBay sales and verified Terra Peak have been around mid 500s to 700, give or take, in that range. So I'm guessing it's not going to. I don't see it jumping to 1,000 or something because of this sale. All right, Louis, did you find anything?
No, not yet. Okay. I was too busy working on your
salary. Waiting for something then. No, okay.
Okay,
so we'll move on. I'll move on.
That was another Baba Louie Hobby Hot Take.
Next story. I got the next. Hold on. I got the next one. Boy, I did terrible on my picture selection. Okay. Upper Deck just announced today that they are going to release physical PWHL trading cards this fall. I know we're all excited. I'm excited. I don't know. None of them will be of players I coach, though, so that makes
Oh.
me sad. But per the Hockey News, Upper Deck Director of Sports Brands Paul Zickler stated that Upper Deck will release a physical set of PWHL cards this fall featuring 50 players. Exact date is to be determined. And previously, Upper Deck has released an e-pack product of PWHL showcase cards that I think sold out pretty quick. And they have also released digital game day moments. I haven't bought any of them. I'm sure I don't think you guys have either. You haven't told me you have, but those have been available. Ziegler says the design will include some of Upper Deck's iconic flagship designs. He also stated it's going to be more of our standard designs. You're going to see some of those iconic designs, from past flagship products. So it'll be more like your traditional trading card product. And the set will pay homage to the inaugural season. Now, get ready. Here's the sad part. One thing to note is that it looks like jersey and patch cards, along with autograph cards, will not be included, as they are looking to build the brand and volume to support those higher end cards. So there we go. So parallels might be your best bet, unless they, did a smoke screen and then they include them. So I know we got a couple guys in our Discord that talk about PWHL stuff every once in a while. So there you go. They're coming out with those cards. And then our final story, as announced, Cole Caufield will be changing his number this year from number 22 to 13 to honor the late Johnny Gaudreau. Very cool way for Caufield to honor Johnny Hockey's legacy. Caufield did wear number 13 when he was with the United States National Team Development Program. And as he said, it was because of Johnny Gaudreau. Caufield was quoted, "I wore number 13 at a point in my career because of Johnny, and now I will be wearing it again to honor him. He paved the way for smaller players and proved we had a future in this game at the highest level. I will forever be grateful to him for inspiring me and others." And it was really interesting. I listened to, I don't know if you guys heard the Spit and Chicklets podcast where they kind of did a little tribute to Johnny Gaudreau, and they were bringing up the case, like, do you think Caufield ever goes number one in this world if it wasn't for Gaudreau being so successful as a small player? And there's been other successful small players, don't get us right, but like Gaudreau kind of ushered in a new era of small players being selected high in the draft and not being poo-pooed. Another thing, Caufield also got to play with Gaudreau this past spring as they were teammates on Team USA at the IIHF Men's World Championships. Caufield said, "Getting to play with your hero is something that most people only dream of. I was lucky enough to be Johnny's teammate this past summer, and it didn't take long to realize how great a person he was. He was the most welcoming, genuine, funniest guy I've ever met. He was someone everyone gravitated towards, and I took the chance I could to be around him. Not only was he an amazing hockey player and teammate, but he was down to earth and truly cared about every person he encountered." So I think very cool by Caufield. I don't know if he'll keep 13 or if it's just a one-season deal, but hey, it's a cool way to honor Johnny Gaudreau. And I bet these will sell like crazy. So it'll be awesome to see all the fans wearing these too.
Well, if the NHL's smart, they'll
donate it to like a charity.
Sort of donate or tribute or like a charity that he supported, or I'm sure he doesn't need his family doesn't need money, but some way to support the family or anything like that. And I know he didn't do it for this reason, but it kind of helps you, even though he's from Wisconsin. It's tough for Minnesota boys to say this, but it kind of makes you want to root for a guy like Cole Caufield for, doing something like that. All right. We ready to move on? So we're going to go to our Fanatics Collect weekly hockey preview. Fanatics Collect, of course, is a partner sponsor of our show, and we're grateful to them for their support. September shaping up to be another huge month for Fanatics Collect. We have the premiere auction starting tonight, running through September 15th. Then there's the Big Fanatics and Sotheby's collaboration on a live auction of Holy Grails that takes place in New York City on September 16th. Also, on September 16th, Fanatics and CGC debut their on-site grading partnership. And then there's great cards 24/7, 365 in the buy now section of fanaticscollect.com, where they've streamlined the seller fees there too. And finally, lots going on. Like you expect with Fanatics, the current weekly auction is live. More than 400 hockey cards this week to choose from, so that's ramping up with the start of the season. Also, remember, Jeremy Lee and I will be live this Sunday night, covering all the cards closing in the weekly auction on Jeremy's YouTube channel, Sports Cards Live, starting 8:30 p.m. Central Time. But like we do every Thursday, we've each picked out a vintage and modern card to highlight from this week's Fanatics Collect Weekly auction. I will tell you why I love cards, and then Phil will tell you why he thinks my choices are dumb. I have a total complex about it. We'll see if I can. I'm on a mission in life to earn Phil's approval.
I'm a card snob. I'm a card snob. There's
Yeah, but you like everyone else's cards and you hate mine. So
well, pick better cards, and I'll like yours.
Maybe I did right now.
Maybe
So
we'll
the first
see.
card I picked was a vintage. I called 1990 vintage, but it's a 1990 Bowman Tiffany Wayne Gretzky number 133 SGC 10 Gem Mint. Now, I've always been infatuated with the whole Tiffany gambit from the late 80s and 90s. I kind of still feel like there's some gravitas to it. As a kid collecting, I feel like I remember the Tiffany baseball cards maybe a little bit more. Like I always wanted the 1986 Bo Jackson Topps traded Tiffany. And holy moly, does this thing go for a lot of money now? It's like more than 10 grand, something like that. So yeah, other people wanted it too. Now, if you're wondering, well, how do you tell a Tiffany from a regular card? The easiest way to tell the difference, online at least, between the Tiffany version of a card and the regular.
I just noticed it.
The one with the lady above it, right?
Tiffany, right? It is, you gotta compare the back of the non-Tiffany back.
Oh, you should have done the 80s pop star Tiffany.
Yeah.
Put your hands together. Coming on stage is Tiffany.
I've said this before. Like, there's certain parts of the show where I go way down like the stupidest, most useless waste of time rabbit holes ever. For me to find a picture of a Tiffany, just someone I thought like reminded me of a Tiffany, I probably spent like 45 minutes. So yeah, I hope everyone liked it. Okay, so the Tiffany back is way glossier than the regular card. Like and the front is more glossy too. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, it's easy to tell side by side. Like it's kind of a no-brainer at that point. But a sneakier way is if you zoom in on the bottom left side, Troy, of the card. You got to even zoom in a little bit more. See, there's two little asterisks.
Oh
there,
yeah,
and there's only one on the non-Tiffany version.
Oh,
The more you know.
The more
I saw bottom left. I was like, oh God, please don't tell me the logo's over what you want to point out.
Yeah. Now, if you're wondering, like, well, what's the whole deal with this, like, Topps Tiffany or Bowman Tiffany thing? I did a little bit of research to find out kind of like what it was all about. So, Tiffany cards featured a glossy finish and bright white cardstock, which made them, of course, more visually appealing and durable compared to the standard cards, which were often printed in more dull, like gray cardboard. They're thought of as being pretty limited. Print runs have never been disclosed, but there's estimates anywhere from like 3,000 to 30,000, depending on the set. Tiffany sets were not available in retail packs. Instead, they were sold as complete factory sets, often through hobby shops, specialty card dealers, or directly from Topps through mail order. This exclusivity added to their allure and helped establish their reputation as a premium product. And when Bowman brand was reintroduced by Topps in 1989, after being dormant since 1955, right? So that's kind of another kind of cool aspect of this card too, is it's the first Bowman hockey card in, what is that, 44 years, something like that. The Tiffany set marked the return of Bowman under Topps ownership, and it was kind of meant to be like a higher end product alongside the regular Bowman set. The card is an SGC 10 Gem Mint. Pop count is 2. So for further context, like in a PSA 10 Bowman Tiffany, there's 28 out of 100 graded. Couldn't find any sales of a 1990 Bowman Tiffany Gretzky SGC 10. A few PSA 10 copies have sold, though. All-time high for PSA 10 is $698 from January 2021. Last sale was $545 in July. And to give a little bit of context, so like what's the value difference between a regular Bowman and a Tiffany? So again, last PSA 10, $545. Last PSA 10 or of the Tiffany, last PSA 10 of the regular is 150. So it's like 3.5 times multiplier. And I'm sure at this card too, you'll get a little bit of an SGC discount. So probably get it for quite a bit cheaper than what a PSA 10 goes for? You got the current bid, Troy?
$37 US.
Okay, Phil, why do you hate the card?
I don't love the card. It looks like a Troy card. He likes those boudoir glamour shot headshot cards. I'm surprised you picked it. But I'm a big Tiffany fan. Love them. Love they're great cards. The card stock is so thick. It's for back in the day. They're beautiful cards.
Okay, who's next? Is it you, Troy?
Yep, I'm next with the greatest card in this auction. 1991 Stadium Club Jeff Bukaboom.
You just
PSA,
wanted to say Bukaboom.
Well, that's part of my reasoning. PSA 10, Gem Mint, Pop 101. Okay. On this show, I've said this before. In this segment, we kind of look at superstar players a lot, pricier cards sometimes. This is one. Hey, guess what? You're going to be able to get this card if you really want it. Plus, so this is a guy I grew up watching, like, because I was a kid in the 80s, early 90s, and I loved Edmonton because of Gretzky. I think even in America, every kid that played hockey knew the Oilers, knew Gretzky. But I remember Jeff Bukaboom, and yes, it was the name. I was like, this guy's name's Bukaboom. He is awesome. So that's why I had to select this card, because it's awesome. And Stadium Clubs I've always liked. Mm-hmm. I know sometimes this, like the 91 set, I think there's a lot of missed rookies that people wish were in there, but I've always liked, and they still make, Stadium Club in baseball. And I've always liked it's kind of minimalistic down at the bottom. And then the big image of the player, I've always thought was a cool, and they usually have good photography and everything. He's got the flow going. And yes, his name again is Bukaboom. So I just wanted to bring that up. Now, a little 91 fun fact. Oh, I got to show the back too. Boy, nothing screams 90s card than something like this. It's just a lot going on. Complete mess going on back here. But here's a fun fact of 91 Topps Stadium Club. So if you look at this card, it's the number 290, Daniel, and I always get this guy's name wrong. Is it Bertholomew?
Berthiaume.
Berthiaume. There we go. So if you look at the back of this card, remember, this is Topps. Does anything look kind of off back here on the boards? Like, you probably can't see it very well, but if you look, I can see a P. We'll skip that letter. An E, an R. This looks like a diamond. It's an Upper Deck logo. It says Upper Deck with their logo. Well, Topps in their infinite wisdom said, we can't have that in the back of our card. And they made the second P a B.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I've never seen that. It actually is an Upper Deck logo and the Upper Deck words, but they actually photoshopped it, so it wasn't as telling. So, little fun fact if you ever see that card. I think it's just crazy that they did that. Okay. I was trying to think of, I had another fun fact about this, but I didn't. I can't remember what it was. So Bukaboom, 30 goals, 129 assists for 159 points in 804 games played. So he played 13 seasons in the NHL. He did win the cup 3 times. So take that. And big physical D-man with Edmonton. I remember him getting in fights a lot, so I had to look it up. He was in 98 fights in the NHL per hockeyfights.com. 1,890 penalty minutes in 13 seasons. So he did good work there. However, like a lot of these guys, he had to retire. He had bad concussions and had to retire due to post-concussion syndrome. Currently a scout for the New York Rangers. And if you remember anything, if you're in America, we had our This Is Sports Center commercials. There's one with Bukaboom where he hears that Steve Levy's making fun of him for calling him Jeff Pukaboom. And there's a commercial where he basically roughs up Steve Levy. So it's very niche. You'd probably have to live in America to remember it, but it's kind of funny. All right.
Borophyll, more like Borophyll.
So PSA 10 pop of this card is 1. Obviously, I could not find any sales of it. However, I'm going to tell you it's not going to go for a lot. Current bid, $5 US.
Only on the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast will you get all the insight into the rookie showcase and then an incredible deep dive into a 1991 Stadium Club Jeff
Bukaboom.
That's what makes the show the snowflake that it is. All right, Louis. Now, what was your pick for a vintage card?
I picked a real vintage card.
Oh,
1964. Topps Glen Hall.
Not a real hockey card.
Or Topps Glen Hall. Number 12, PSA 8.
Okay.
A little background on Mr. Glenn Hall here. He played from 1951 to 1971 and was a Calder winner in 1956. He played in a whopping 13 All-Star games. Won the Vezina in 63, 67, and 69. Won the Conn Smythe in 1968. I thought, Troy, chime in on this one if this is crazy, but holds the NHL record for the most consecutive games started by a goaltender at 502.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah, that's
What?
crazy. That
That's
won't happen.
insane.
That won't happen again. That will never happen
No.
again.
No.
As improbable as Gretzky's goal record is, I think this one will never, ever be broken.
Over 500 consecutive games as a goalie without a helmet. Oh no, he had a helmet. Glenn Hall.
He had a
yeah,
mask. I think he wore a mask
had
for a
helmet.
little bit.
He's got it in his glove there.
I
Yeah.
can't see. I don't have my glasses on.
We
You're
gotta
blind?
make a make a sounder
Very
for
blind.
that too. I don't have my
Well, no wonder why you
glasses
hate all my cards. You're blind. You just hate me. That's what you're.
I love you.
Hate
I would
me.
absolutely not. Your cards just suck. But-
All right, focus here. He won 2 Stanley Cup championships in 52 and 61, and then another as a goaltending coach with the St. Louis Blues in 89. Did I say 89?
Yeah.
Now, I jumped on this because I never knew anything about these cards. These, what are the tall boys?
Yep.
And we've probably profiled them about 60 times on the show. So that just you're just saying you never listened to our show.
I'm too busy with other things. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay.
So it's been touted as one of the top vintage hockey sets of all time, nearly double the size of its Topps hockey predecessors. This 110 card offering is the first Tallboy issue in any sport. It was also the first Topps hockey set to showcase players from all 6 NHL teams.
Wait a minute, that's kind of cool. So, because I think probably the most iconic Tallboy card of anything is it's like the Jerry West rookie and Lou
Lou
Cinder? Yeah, his
Lou
rookie
Cinder.
card. So this would predate those. What you're saying, huh, Louis?
It's what the information I found.
That's what the internet told me.
It's what the internet said.
The great thing about being a hockey card show is, we get every hockey fact checked at the end of the world. There's no way anyone's going to fact check us on basketball, so we can say whatever we want.
You need to get a copy of Bobby Burrell's book.
Sure. Where am I here? The Tallboy set also marked the first time that Topps did unveil its hockey issue into 2 different series, each having 55 pasteboards, cards, measuring, if you care, 2.5 inches by 4 11/16 each. The whiteboarded front showcase a large photo against a colorful background. The team name is located above the photo, while the player's name is positioned along the bottom. The first series cards tend to have the majority of the full body shots of the players, whereas in the second series, the cards have most of the close-up headshots. These Tallboys were distributed in, get this, 5-cent packs that housed 4 cards and a stick of gum. The rappers trumpeted them as giant size NHL hockey picture cards.
So the rappers had trumpets on them? Is that what you're saying?
Trumpeted, yeah, the rappers trumpeted them
I thought it
as
was trombones. Damn.
So there's my little
funny, yeah.
There's my little lesson on the Tallboys. Things I picked out that you never said the 17 other times you referenced these cards on the show.
Ooh, that was passive aggressive. Very good, Minnesota. Passive aggressive.
Fighting words.
All right, to the card itself. I thought, the front of the card looks great. There's some issues along the edges. They're a little fraying here and there, not super, super noticeable, but you can see them more on the back. I don't know if you got that, Troy, if I sent it to you or not. And then there's a couple fish eyes on the back of the card, which I assume would make this an 8 grade.
To
There's
me, part of the card is holding his goalie mask and the glove. That makes me like this card a lot. I think that's cool.
That's cool. Yeah, it's a plant mask, eh? It's a plant style.
Yeah, right.
It's like a piece of steel.
Yeah.
Anywho, 250 total PSA graded copies of this card, with the most of them receiving an 8 grade at 59. There were 3 graded higher at 9, no 10s. And just for the heck of it, I looked up SGC had graded 54 of these cards and has 5 at an 8.5 for their highest grade. Last sale of this card was June 25th, 2024 for $390. And Troy, while I was away, did you update this by chance?
125 US
$125.
Nice. All right, Glenn Hall holding his mask. Tall boy. First tall boys ever. We learned that from Baba Louie.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, we're going to switch to modern real quick. The card I picked is a 2019 Upper Deck buyback. It's of the 2016-17 canvas Mario Lemieux Gold Ink Auto out of 10, PSA 10, Auto 10 grade. Now, when we talked about picking the perfect Gretzky Auto last show and laid out all the criteria, this Oli Lefsa, better known as Mario Lemieux, the 2019 buybacks hits all of those marks for me. On all the key like buyback criteria that I'm kind of looking for. It's a beautiful card on its own. The 2016 Lemieux Upper Deck canvas. The auto's in gold, so it doesn't get like lost in the sauce on the card. It stands out really good as on top of Mario's Black Penguins uniform. Gold Ink autos, I think, are the bomb. Love them. It's hand numbered to 10. Troy, can I get an amen for the choir from that one, please, man?
Amen, brother. Amen.
Thank you.
Amen, brother.
Oh, 2.
Amen,
Wow,
brother.
3. The PSA 10 out of 10, great on the card too. Pretty scarce, of course. Pop 1 at this grade, and then you throw an all-time legendary player like Super Mario, and now we're talking. In my opinion, one thing some collectors could have issues with this card is the auto's a little thicker, a little bit of a thick auto. How about you, Troy? Are you down with the thickness on this card or what?
I don't mind it because I love the gold and I love however they do this ink where it's got like I said it with the Gretzky. It's almost like you ripped part of the card off and this was underneath. I just think it looks so cool how
is it how it bleeds into that canvas texture of that card?
Yeah,
it
just
looks amazing.
Awesome.
Did you get my down with the thickness line?
I did. I saw Disturbed in concert. They opened for STP.
So now, in honoring also of highlighting this Lemieux card, I wanted to find like some maybe more obscure fun fact about Lemieux. I found this interesting one. Maybe you guys have heard of this. I had.
Should have went how many packs of cigarettes did he smoke in the locker room between periods?
Oh gosh, Troy. Shots fired. Okay, check this out. When Lemieux was drafted by the Penguins in 1984, he famously refused to don the team's jersey during the draft ceremony. Ooh. This was due to a contract dispute, as Lemieux wanted to negotiate his contract before publicly committing to the team. This moment stands out as one of the most unique draft day incidents in NHL history. Is that news to anybody? Phil, you aware of that? Phil, you're awake?
No, yeah, I'm good. I didn't know that. I had no idea about that.
I did not know that either. It's not like Eric Lindros, right? Where he just basically told them, don't draft me.
Yeah.
And you still did. And that's your mistake.
Now, I could only find 4 public sales of this card, of anyone the 10 copies in card letter sales history. Last sale was for a PSA 9, sold for $725 in June 2022. So that was like pandemic pricing, but now this is PSA 10 Auto 10. So I wouldn't be shocked if it did a little bit better on Sunday night when the auction closes. You got a current bid?
$120 US.
Ooh, you hate this card too, Phil? Or
no, I think this card's great. Could you imagine this card in UD black canvas? Ooh, that would be one of those perfect hockey cards, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, Troy, you got the next one.
I do. Here we go. So 2003 I can't talk anymore. Parkhurst rookie hockey, Marc-Andre Fleury, rookie patch, SGC 8.5, SG Pop is 101. So again, this is our boy, Marc-Andre Fleury. I personally love this card because anything with I'm calling this goalie equipment vintage. It's like 20 years old by now,
Yeah.
but it's Coho. You don't see Coho equipment anymore. I love
Nice.
Coho goalie equipment.
What happened to Coho? Did it like go
Oh, I'm sure it got bought by
bankrupt?
CCM or Bauer.
Okay.
No, I don't know exactly, but yeah, I got the Coho equipment. The pads again, they look like they weigh a ton. Not as much as the big brown ones, but I love old stuff. And one thing too, you see this card and your first thought is immediately, well, what is that patch?
Yeah.
What is going on? It's blue and red. What? That's not the penguin. Yes, that lady.
I don't like that one. That brought up some trauma or something. Can we not use that again? I feel like my ex-girlfriend's gonna smack me or something.
Yeah, it's very high pitched. So again, we got this blue and red patch, but if you turn the card over and it tells you what it is, on the front of this card is a piece of a number from a game used Marc-Andre Fleury 2002-03 CHL Prospects game jersey.
That's awesome. They should do
I
that all
love
the
that.
time. Yeah,
I absolutely love that. I need this to happen more often. Now it does.
Really?
What?
But he's in a Penguins uniform.
I don't care about that. I need the back of the card on these patches.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me what game. Now, SB Game Use has kind of done that. It will say it was from the All-Star Skills competition.
Mm-hmm.
There are some cards that do that. Don't get me wrong.
This manufactured patch is from.
Yeah, don't mind the manufactured
factory in
patch.
Thailand.
But it's like rookie photo shoots. I've seen those on the back of cards before. I just want it more. I want, instead of this game or this patch was certified to be used in a game. Tell me what game.
Yeah.
Tell me. I think it's such a cool touch. I don't know the work involved to go into it, but probably is a lot. But I think it would be a really nice touch if they could do that on everything. But that's just pie in the sky. Anyways, that's kind of what I want to bring this card up in the first place. I do like it, but I love that there's some like provenance on what's going on with this patch, because our immediate reaction is like, well, this is ridiculous. They either got the wrong one or it's, usually it's like you played for another team and it's that team.
Have you ever seen an NHL card with the CHL patch on it though?
Great question. I haven't.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it is kind of weird, but it's a rookie card. So, and it's like, that's probably the only thing they had. All right. So this is the only graded copy of this card at SGC. I couldn't find any previous sales. Current bid of this thing is $19 US. So I think it's going to be in the affordable range, but cool card with a little provenance. I like the little history behind where it came from.
All right. NHL cameraman extraordinaire, Gong Show producer, Baba Louie has the last card to feature in this week's Fanatics Collect Weekly auction. What is it, Baba Louie?
I do. All right. So I've been doing a really, really good job staying in my lane and focusing on what I have deemed to be my PC with North Stars, Wild Autos, and that was cute. I think after seeing this card, there's might be room to go off the rails here. What we have is a 2021 Upper Deck Stature Gravitas Sidney Crosby patch auto out of 7.
That always stature. I love the random out of 7.
Out of 7. Right?
Out of 42.
So why do I love it? First, it's Sid, but secondly, the patch is sick, the auto's sick, and it's on my new love, Stature. Are you out there?
No announcement yet.
And now's the bad time to fall in love with Stature, Louie.
Yeah,
timing is a key.
It might not be happening. I'm getting nervous.
Really?
nervous
You guys
too.
think it won't go down?
I don't know.
We don't know.
Something's weird. I don't know.
There's something going on.
But onto the card. Did you guys get the heat maps and all that jazz for it? So I mean, it looks great, but they produce these like we've talked about before, the heat maps on the cards where you can see potential issues that have been found. So supposedly on the front, of the card up by the statue or
That would
the
be like a
statue
surface
It's
issue.
probably that thing right
surface
there.
issue.
I
Oh,
can
there
see
it is.
Yeah, I can really see that.
I
card.
completely missed it. Yep. I was thinking it was higher up in that stature neck of the woods there. And then the back of the card, again, looks like a complete mess, I guess. But, top left corner issue, right top issue.
Sorry, I don't have the
no back. I did see there was more frame. There was, just those little fish hairs, whatnot, on the side of the card running up and down there and on the bottom. But all in all, out of 7.
Do they bother you, Louis? Would you still want the card?
It didn't bug me enough in the picture not to want it.
Attaboy. Good. I'd like to hear it. It would
that's
look
a
great in
stick.
your PC. I think you should go for it.
So I don't have any new, fun, never heard of interesting facts about Sid. So we'll just jump in. I found one that was graded by PSA and received a 9. Like I said, this one's ungraded. No past public sales of this card. And currently, with Troy's help, we are up to a bid of $210 US.
It's a nice card.
This card needs one of these strings though to be frayed and like hanging.
Oh,
over the
stop
edge.
it! Stop it!
We can make that happen.
I could get my little needle out.
Best thing I've learned in this whole segment is I now have something that I know bugs my nemesis Phil, and at any moment when I want him to fall out of his chair, I can do that.
Oh no, you can't. I just realized what you're talking about. Don't do that, man.
Well, you gotta keep in my good graces, Phil, and it won't happen. You can bid on any of these 6 cards and any of the other amazing cards available this week at fanaticscollect.com. Now, for once, I have a personal pickup. It's going to be very exciting to Phil. I'm for sure he's going to love this card because this week I did pick up a 2021 Clear Ultra Austin Mustache gold medallions out of 200 raw.
He's extremely unattractive for a person. and I know Brady Kachuk's my favorite person. I know he looks like Sloth from the Goonies, but I love Brady. He's not trying to be handsome. I'm sorry.
I think Matthews is good, would be considered good looking. I don't usually rate guys.
All the women listening, all 4 of you, please write in, the wives, and write in and tell Josh he's wrong.
Do you legitimately think he has a hard time like finding a date for the drive-in movie?
No, but look,
family show.
Neither does Connor McDavid, and I mean, come on, like, ooh.
Are we gonna have to do a whole episode where you just like rate guys like on their looks in the NHL?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm comfortable.
The Mount Rushmore of good-looking hockey players. You want to
I
do
can
that?
recognize a handsome man. Self-care goes a long way with the ladies, so make sure you floss those teeth, boys.
Well, they.
Sorry.
On that note, thank you all for tuning in. It's been a crazy day. I'm about to pass out. We have to edit this episode. But if you like the episode, please leave a rating, review on Apple, Spotify, whatever podcast app you listen to us on. If you love the show, you want to support us, you want to chat with us on the Hockey Cards Gongshow Discord server, please consider a $5 a month donation. Join our $1.99 support level tier on Patreon. Link is in the show description in both YouTube and podcast apps. In our Instagram, TikTok profile, you can find it on our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com, by clicking the Become a Patron link at the top of the page, or just skip all that and go to the Patreon website directly, patreon.com, and search for Hockey Cards Gongshow. Hey, Phil, guess what?
Yeah.
We're on social media. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. And boys, the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast is a production of Dollar Box Ventures LLC. Have an amazing, I don't even know what day it is. Have an amazing whatever day is tomorrow. And
Thursday.
Say goodbye, Louis.
Bye.